Hi guys, so today we're looking at inverse functions. So just to remind you that every operation has an opposite. For example, the opposite of addition is subtraction. The inverse of a function is the function that will undo and return you to the input. Essentially, it's the same as your function machine but in the opposite order. So you're trying to undo your function machine to get to your input. Okay, so when we're trying to find the inverse of a function, which is given by f to the power of minus 1x, the first thing we do is swap fx with y. We then rearrange to make x the subject and swap all your y's with x's at the very end. Okay, let's try one. Find the inverse of f of x is equal to 2x squared minus 7. So the first thing we do here is swap our f of x with y. This gives us y equals 2x squared minus 7. We now rearrange this equation so that x is our subject. That means we'll have x on one side of the equation and everything else on the other. This gives us y plus 7 equals 2x squared. We want the x on its own, so we divide both sides by 2, which gives us x squared equals y plus 7 over 2. We want the x on its own, so we now square root both sides. This gives us x equals square root of y plus 7 over 2. From here, we swap our x's with our y's. So this gives us x plus 7 over 2 equals y. And now, instead of writing y, we can write our inverse function. So instead of y, we say f to the power of minus 1x is equal to the square root of x plus 7 over 2. Okay, let's try another example. Okay, find the inverse function of f of x equals 3 over x minus 1. The first thing we do here is swap our y with f of x. This gives us y equals 3 over x minus 1. We now want to make x the subject. So you hate fractions, let's cross multiply. This gives us y times x minus 1 equals 3. We want the x on its own, so we're going to expand our brackets. Y times x gives me yx. Y times minus 1 gives me minus y. This is all equal to 3. Okay, so we want the x on its own, so to move the values across the equal sign, we do the opposite. This becomes xy equals 3 plus y. We want the x on its own now, so we divide both sides by y. This gives us x equals 3 plus y over y. We now swap the x's with the y's. So wherever we see x, we write y, and wherever we see y, we write x. And instead of writing y, we can call this f to the negative 1, x equals 3 plus x over x. Okay guys, I now want you to go to exercise 6.8 in your books and complete questions 1 to 5. Find the inverse of each of those functions.